भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा।
Recording in progress.
Today we understand Srimad
Srimad
Bhagavatam canto first, chapter 13, Dhritarashtra home, shloka number 15 and 16. Abhibrata Aryamā dandam
Abhibrata Aryamā dandam
yathavat agakarishu
yathavat agakarishu
yavad dadar shudratvam
yavad dadhar śūdratvam
tāpat varshatam yamah
tāpād varshashatam yamah.
Yudhiṣṭhira labdharajya
Yudhiṣṭhirah labdharajyah
drishtva pautram dharam
दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलन्धरम्
भ्रातुभिः लोकपालाभिः
भ्रातुभिः लोकपालाभैः
मुदे परया श्रिया
मुदे परया श्रिया
अभिव्रत अर्यमा दंडम
अबिभ्रत अर्यमा दंडम
यथावत अगकारीषु
यथावद अघकारिषु
यावद् ददार शूद्रत्वं
यावद्ददार शूद्रत्वम्
आपात वर्षशतं यमः
शापाद वर्षशतं यमः
राज्यः
युधिष्ठिरलब्धराज्यः
दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलन्धरम्
दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलन्धरम्
भ्रातुभिः लोकपालाभिः
भ्रातृभिः लोकपालाभैः
मुमुदे परया श्रिया
मुमुदे परया श्रिया
अबिभ्रत अरिमण्डं यथावत् अगकारीषु यावद् ददार शूद्रत्वं शापात वर्षशतं यमः युधिष्ठिरः लब्धराज्यः दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलं धरं भ्रातुभिः लोकपालाभिः मुमुदे परया श्रिया। साधु संग प्रभु जी।
अबिभ्रत अर्यमादण्डं यथावद् अघकारिषु यावद्दधार शूद्रत्वं शापात् वर्षशतं यमः युधिष्ठिरलब्धराज्यः दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलन्धरं भ्रातृभिः लोकपालाभैः मुमुदे परया श्रियः। कृपामयी सीता देवी माता जी।
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Abhibrat Aryama Dandam Yatvat Agarkarishu Yadvat Datra Sudatvatvam Sapat Varsha Satam Yamaha Yudhiṣṭhiro Labdha Rajyo Drishtva Pautram Kulam Taram Prate Loka Palabir Mumukta Praya Shriya. Thank you.
सुकल्प प्रभु जी आप पढ़ना चाहोगे? Translation and purpose.
Hare Krishna. As long as Vidura played the part of a Śrūdra, being cursed by Maṇḍūka Muni, Aryamā officiated at the post of
Recording in
Yamarāja
progress.
to punish those who committed sinful acts. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Having won his kingdom,
Hare
and ob-
Krishna.
yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
From whom?
Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of one
Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of one uh, grandson, competent, uh, competent to continue the tradition of his family, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira reigned peacefully and enjoyed opulence in cooperation with his younger brother, who were all expert administrators to the common people. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Mataji, you
Vidura
can join from
born
mobile.
in the
Mataji's voice is breaking
Yeah,
out,
yeah, yeah.
Mataji.
Mataji, you can join from mobile.
yes, yes. Vidura, born in the womb of a Sudra woman, was forbidden even to be party of royal heritage, along with his brother Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Then, how could he occupy the post of a preacher to instruct such learned kings and kshatriyas as Dhritarashtra and Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira? The first answer is that even though it is accepted that he was a śūdra by birth, because he renounced the word for spiritual enlightenment by the authority of Ṛṣi Maitreya, and was thoroughly educated by him in transcendental knowledge, he was quite competent to occupy the post of an ācārya or spiritual preceptor. According to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, anyone who is conversant in the transcendental knowledge or the science of Godhead, be he a Brahmana or a Śūdra, a householder or a sannyasi, is eligible to become a spiritual master. Even in the ordinary moral codes maintained by Chanakya Pandit, the great politician and moralist.
There is no harm in
Hare
taking
Krishna.
lessons from a person who may be by birth less than a Shudra. This is one part of the answer. The other is that Vidura was not actually a Shudra. He was to play the part of a so-called Shudra for 100 years, being cursed by Maṇḍūka Muni. He was the incarnation of
Um,
Yamarāja, one of the 12 Mahājans, on the level with such exalted personalities as Brahma, Narad, Shiva, Kapila, Bhishma, Prahlad, etc. Being a Mahājana, it is the duty of Yamarāja to preach the cult of devotion to the people of the world as Narad, Brahma and other Mahājanas do. But Yamarāja is always busy in his Plutonic
but
kingdom.
Yamaraj is always busy in his plutonic a kingdom, punishing the doers of sinful acts. Yamraj is deputed by the Lord to a particular planet, some hundreds of thousands of miles away from the planet of Earth, to take away the corrupt souls after death and convict them in accordance with their respective sinful activities. Thus, Yamraj has very little time to take leave from his responsible office of punishing the wrongdoers. There are more wrongdoers than righteous men. Therefore, Yamaraj has to do more work than other demigods who are also authorized agents of the Supreme Lord. But he wanted to preach the glories of the Lord, and therefore, by the will of the Lord, he was caused by Maṇḍūka Muni to come into the world in the incarnation of Vidura and work very hard as a great devotee. Such a devotee is neither a Shudra nor a Brahmana. He is transcendental to such divisions of mundane society. Just as the personality of Godhead assumes his incarnation as a hog, but he is neither a hog nor a Brahma. He is above all mundane creatures, sometimes have to play the role of many lower, and his pure devotees are always in the transcendental position. When Yamaraj thus incarnated himself as Vidura, his post was officiated by Aryamā, one of the many sons of Kashyap and Aditi. The Adityas are sons of Aditi, and there are 12 Adityas. Aryamā is one of 12 Adityas, and therefore it was quite possible for him to take charge of the office of Yamarāja during his 100 years absence in the form of Vidura. The conclusion is that Vidura was never śūdra, but was great than the poorest type of Brahmana. Both Mahājana, both Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira he it had to be done as a matter of a duty, for it was planned by the supreme will of Lord Sri Krishna. After the battle, Maharaj Yudhishthir was unhappy over such mass killing. Practically, there was none to continue the Kuru dynasty after them, the Pandavas. The only remaining hope was the child in the home of his daughter-in-law, Uttara, and he was also attacked by Ashwatthama. But by the grace of the Lord, the child was saved. So, after the settlement of all disturbing conditions and re-establishment of the peaceful order of the state, and after seeing in the surviving child Parikshit well satisfied, Maharaj Yudhishthir felt some relief as a human being, although he had very little attraction for material happiness, which is always illusory and temporary. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam ena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Śrī Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam ena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guroho Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Vitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, Hare Krishna. We try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Dhritarashtra quits home, Shloka number 15 and 16. In Shloka number 15, they describe about Viduras played the part of Shudra. Why he played that role? Because of course the Maṇḍūka Muni, and that is the uh, desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And uh, in the place of Vidura, Aryamā, who is the son of 12 Aditya and Kashyap's son. There are 12 Adityas out of one Aryamā. And Aryamā Aryamā representing the Yamarāja, who's in the place of the Vidura. And next shloka, Yudhishthir and Arjuna was from the uh, starting, they are not ready to fight, and they are uh, from the beginning, they are very unhappy, and both Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira and Arjuna were unhappy from the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra. How they unhappy? Why they unhappy? They were unhappy, and what happened? What they do? Prabhuji will tell us in detail. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna. Pranam.
So Vidura is playing a part of a Shudra, but then he's being cursed by Maṇḍūka Muni. Now, the important word here is he's playing a part. He's not a Shudra, he has played the part of a Shudra. And since he was not occupying his original chair of a Yamarāja, the work has to go on, the show must go on. That is the funda. Even in corporate world today, we always believe the show must go on. So in his place, the duty of Yamarāja to punish those who committed sinful acts was being performed, as Mataji has explained, by Aryamā. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was very happy because he had won his kingdom. He had also observed the birth of his grandson, who everyone had predicted to be noble, to be competent to continue the noble tradition. And so he reigned peacefully. In fact, because of his younger brothers, he could enjoy uncommon opulence. All the brothers were expect administrators to the common people. So it was a very ideal kingdom just when Kali Yuga was approaching. And thus, they are giving us a live example and teaching on how to lead a life cooperatively. Now, amongst these two shlokas, the aspect of Vidura becomes important. Because what we saw yesterday was Vidura had not come back to enjoy the palatial pleasures. He had come back because he wanted to give the transcendental message to his elder brother, who was very much attached to his material life. And there, while he was giving the message, we see that the message is such profound that it immediately attracts everyone. And so, all the relatives had become attracted. So, indirectly, he was acting as a guru, a Shiksha guru. So, the question comes up, a Shudra ideally is forbidden to be a party of a royal heritage. Then how come he was becoming an ācārya, a guru? And for that, Prabhupada gives us two wonderful explanations. The very first is very important because that is something which has been even reiterated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If someone, like in this case of Vidura, he had renounced the world for spiritual enlightenment. He had taken the knowledge from Ṛṣi Maitreya. So he was enlightened by the authority. He was thoroughly educated in transcendental knowledge. And because of that, he was competent to occupy the post of ācārya. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that anyone who is convergent in the transcendental knowledge or science of Godhead, whether he is a Brahmana, a Shudra, a Grihastha, a Sannyasi, is eligible to become a spiritual master. Even Chanakya Pandit, he says that there is no harm in taking lessons from a person who may be less than a Shudra also. So ideally, Vidura was not Shudra at all because he was rightfully trained. In fact, Prabhupada ji, he has also reiterated the importance of knowledge and training. That is why he recommended that every day we should study Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita without fail. And not only that, you should also have structured courses. And that is why you have Discover Yourself, Journey of Self-Discovery, Pre-Bhakti Shastra. And then the stress comes to actual detail analysis, detailed training in the form of Bhakti Shastri, then Bhakti Web, and so on. So Vidura had got the knowledge. The other aspect was he was an incarnation of Yamarāja. And who is Yamarāja? He is one of the 12 Mahajanas. He himself tells it to his Yamdutas in the shloka which we have been narrating even previously. Now, a Mahajana has a duty to preach about Krishna consciousness to the people of the world. Narad, Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, Bhishma, Prahlad, they all have been doing it. So even Yamaraj is expected to do it. But unfortunately, his work is such that he is always busy. Like when we ask people to please join every day at 8 p.m. without fail, we share them the link. Then what answer do get? We are very busy. We have office, we have meetings. But then those are on material platform and they are not as important as what Yamaraj is doing. Now he wanted to actually participate and fulfill his duty. So with Lord's blessings, a situation was created wherein he could fulfill his desire. Otherwise, he's always busy punishing the sinful persons who have been doing sinful acts. And he's on a planet which is thousands of miles away from the earth. So he has to take away the corrupt souls of the dead, convict them, and then punish them, depending upon their karma. There are so many bad people. In fact, it is said that those who are sinners are many, many times more than the righteous persons. So Yamaraj has very little time to take leave. So he has to work more than the other demigods. So when in the heart of the heart, he was considering that he is not able to preach Krishna consciousness. Immediately Krishna created a Leela wherein he was cursed by Maṇḍūka Muni. He took incarnation as Vidura and he worked very hard as a great devotee of Krishna. So a devotee is never a śūdra or a brahman. He's transcendental. Just like Krishna can assume any incarnation, even a hog, but he's not a hog. He's above all born creatures. So it is said that the Lord and his authorized devotees sometimes they play the role of lower creatures. The objective is to guide the conditioned souls, the Baddha Jiva, towards the rightful path, towards the transcendental position. And so his pure devotees are always right. Now, as I said earlier, the work has to go on. And that is why, as Mataji said, Aryamā was one of the 12 Adityas. He took the work and he continued doing it. Here we also see that Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, Arjuna, they actually did not want the Kurukshetra war because they didn't want to kill their own men in the fight. But as a duty, because it was the supreme will of Krishna, they engaged in the battle. But they were still unhappy because of the mass killings. In fact, it is said that there was no one who could have continued Kuru dynasty. And the only ray of hope was Parikshit Maharaj, who was still in the womb of Uttara. But by the grace of the Lord, even after attack by Ashwathama, he was saved. He took birth, and everyone said that he is going to be able to continue the noble tradition. So all the disturbing conditions were settled. There was peaceful order of the state. So Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira became satisfied. In fact, he had no attraction for material happiness, which is temporary and illusory. He was just fulfilling his duties, and in that, he ensured that with the help of his brother, he could give good administration to everyone. So, from these shlokas, we understand that Yamarāja, as the supreme adjudicator of karma, this is going to come in the third canto, fifth chapter, third verse. So, he is supposed to ensure that every soul faces the consequences for their actions according to the divine laws. Second learning for us is the law of karma. The nature of karma is inescapable, even for great personalities. It also demonstrates the humility because Yamaraja accepted the curse and fulfilled his duties with sincerity. There is an example which is always quoted that just like if a calf can find its mother cow among thousands of cows, similarly, one's karma finds the individual wherever they go. So there is no hiding away from whatever karma we do. Even in Bhagavad Gita 3.16, Krishna says, one who does not follow the prescribed duties as established by the Vedas is living a sinful life and ultimately suffers. So we have to be very, very, very careful in our life, in our dealings. We have to build the humility like Yamaraj, who accepted the curse. Secondly, the Kuru dynasty was re-established after such a havoc which was created by Kurukshetra. And so the site of Parikshit ensured the continuation of the family legacy. And at the same time, the brothers of Yudhishthira Maharaj, they acted as Lokpals. Their comparison to guardians of the universe emphasized their power, unity, and dedication to Dharma. It also is a lesson for us in resilience and gratitude. Despite past challenges, Yudhishthir's life teaches us resilience and gratitude for divine grace. And his joy is symbolizing the fulfillment of duty and establishment of righteousness. So actually, we were to conclude, these verses are reminding us of divine justice system, the rewards of steadfast adherence to dharma, the importance of humility, karma, gratitude in journey towards peace and prosperity. So the practical application would be that we need to develop humility and accountability. We have to take responsibility for our actions and accept life's challenges as opportunities for growth. We have to have faith in divine plan. Yudhishthir's journey from despair to happiness demonstrates the importance of faith in Krishna and adherence to dharma even during adversity. And thirdly, the service to society. Like the comparison of Yudhishthir's brothers to Lokpalas reminds us that we have to prioritize the welfare of the people and as protectors of dharma. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita